Okay, hi, good evening, everyone. So we are here in day 2 of our data science internship. Yes. So to recall what we saw yesterday we started with Python, right? So we started with what is data science is all about, and then we saw a few basics of Python, and then we also did saw about one package called pandas. Yes. So I showed you how to install PyCharm in your system, how to install pandas, and then how to perform functions using pandas. Yes. And I hope I also gave you one assignment to do. So have you all completed the assignment? Yes. And submitted in the Google form. You didn't give the answer. You typed the code, right? You're supposed to type the code. Okay. So we'll continue with pandas. So yesterday we saw pandas, we used it to retrieve values. Even in the assignments, I gave you questions where you are supposed to take answers from the given table, right? Now today what we'll learn is we'll learn to clean data with pandas. Okay. So we're going to clean data with the help of pandas. Now see here, I have an Excel sheet here. Now in this Excel sheet, we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 columns. So in employee ID column, they have employee ID numbers, okay. And then see here, you have this name column. In this name column, you have empty column here. I mean empty row, empty cell here, right? And similarly, in department also, you have empty cell. And in age, you have something called NAN, not a number. And then you have salary. All these are like irrelevant data. Yes, no? So now what you have to do is you have to clean this sheet. Cleaning this sheet is something like you're going to remove the unwanted empty spaces. And, instead of this NAN value, you're going to substitute with a different value, like a median value. Yes. And you're going to check whether you are able to edit or change anything. So what we'll do is we'll take this Excel sheet into our Python. We'll take it to our PyCharm, and using pandas, we'll see what type of cleaning can be applied to this particular Excel sheet. All right. So now you should have this Excel sheet downloaded in your system. So once you have this Excel sheet downloaded in your system, you can just copy paste it to your PyCharm, right? So from downloads, you just have to go choose your Excel sheet. I mean, from wherever you have the Excel sheet, just go copy that Excel, right click, copy, and then come here, select your project, right click, and click on paste. So once you click on paste, you'll have the Excel sheet inside your project. This is how you will bring the Excel sheet inside your project. All right. Now, once you're inside your project, let's create a new Python file. So it's going to be Excel cleaning.py. So now we have one Python file here, and we have the Excel sheet in the same directory. Now, to read Excel file, yesterday to read CSV file, we used read underscore CSV, right? So now for Excel, you're going to use read underscore Excel. This is the default function. So this read underscore Excel is going to read all these Excel files, Excel data, and it is going to store it inside this variable called df. Okay. So once it is stored, we are going to print and see the data frame. So now what I'll do is I'll try running this program. So once I run, all the data inside the Excel file will get moved to df, and then it is going to print it in tabular format. See, now we have the data inside. Now this is inside df. Okay. So inside data frame, we have got all the columns: employee ID, name, salary, joining date, and email. Now using this df, we are going to clean the data. All right. So what type of cleanings can we do? First, you have to check what data are missing in each column. Now, if you want to know what data is missing in each column, you can use this function called isNull. IsNull is a function will tell you what data is missing, and some function will tell you in each column how many cell values are missing. Okay, so we are writing it together. So now when I just copy paste it here, and when we run, It is going to show in each column how many data is missed. So in name column, we have one data missed. In department also, we have one data missed. In age, we have one data missed. In email, there is no data missing. In joining date also, we have all the dates. So it is just giving you the count of what values are missing. Okay. So now once you know what values are missing, let's see what else we can do. Now, in name column, there is an empty row, right? I mean, there is a row without name, right? When I run this, there is this cancel. So we have a row with no name. Okay, NA, right? Now what we'll do, we'll remove this. We'll remove this. If there is no name, it means it is an invalid entry, correct? So we don't need this row. So what we'll do, we'll remove this. So to remove this, you have to use this function called drop NA. Okay, so what drop NA will do? Drop NA is going to find out the empty value which is in the name column, and it is going to remove that entire row. Now to check whether it is removed or not, what I'll do is I'll print another print statement and will rename it as updated data frame. Okay, so now when I run this, my initial data frame will have the fifth row, that is NaN, this row. Yes. Now the updated data frame will not have that particular row. 5 is missing. Okay. So name column which is empty is removed. All right. This is one thing. Now in the salary column, there is one field where there is no salary. See this one. Okay. Now we need to fill this salary part, the salary value. Okay. Now how are we going to fill this? Look at all the salary. The salary ranges are from 50,000. 60,000, 70, 62, 64, 80 and 75. So it is inside in kind of range between 50 to 80 only, right? So we are going to assume an average value and we'll fill it. So we can't put the exact value because we don't know how much this particular person is exactly earning. So we just need that cell to have a value. So we are going to put an average value to that particular cell. All right. So for that, what we'll do, we'll use the median. So we are choosing the salary column. Yes, we'll choose the salary column and we are going to fill it, and we'll fill it with the median value. So now when I run this program, in the initial data frame, we don't have a salary value here for David, but in the updated data frame, we have a salary value here for David. But this is not the exact salary of David, but just for the sake of filling the Excel sheet, we have the average value done here. All right. So this one. Now, in case if you wanted to fill the department names, if any department name is missing, you just wanted to fill it with any name, any default name. Here I have used unknown. Okay. So whatever department name is missing, just fill it as unknown. If you want to fill it as unknown, you can again inside fill NA, you can give as unknown. So when I run this, so in initial data frame, we have a department without a name. And in the updated data frame, it is changed to unknown. All right. And then if you want to ensure whether each particular column is in specific data type. Now here I have done it for the date field alone, the date column alone. So I wanted to ensure this date column is in a proper data type, proper Python data type. So for that, what I'm doing is I'm converting that particular row, that column, using this datetime function. So this datetime function will ensure that that particular column is going to be in the datetime data type format. So output it is going to give the same. Initial data frame is also going to look same. The updated data frame will also look the same. The change which should have happened will be internally applied. Internally, this joining date column, it will be in the date time format. You can't see any output here because this is just converting the format, date time format. And then if you want to know if there is any duplicate values in the data frame, right? You can use this function called duplicated. So duplicated, what it will do, it will check for duplicated values and it will give you the output. But as per this data, I don't think we have any duplicates. So it is showing false. So in each column, we have unique data only. We don't have any data repeated. If there is any data repeated, it will show true here. This is to find the duplicates. And then, in case if you wanted to convert all the department names to, lowercase or to uppercase, then you can use str.lower function. So this lower function will convert all the department names into lower letters, lowercase letters. Right? This is with lowercase. And then if you wanted to rename the column names, let me show you that output. We'll take the initial data frame and I'll take the updated data frame. See here in initial data frame, we have all the departments in both upper and lower cases. But in the updated data frame, we have it all in the lower cases. Right? This is with changing the case. And then for renaming. Now, in case if you wanted to rename the column names. Now, this is the default column names which we have. Employee underscore ID, name, department, salary and all that. Now, in this, let's rename two columns. One is employee ID. So, employee underscore ID, I'm changing it without underscore. And joining underscore date, I'm changing it without the underscore. So, for that, you will use the rename function. In rename function, you're renaming the columns. So, columns equal to the existing value and the updated value. So, when I run, the initial data frame will have underscore and the existing data frame, the updated one will not have the underscore. No underscores here. Got removed. Alright, this is data cleaning. If you ask me, is this only data cleaning, only these much functions? No, there are n number of functions like this. You can do as many things you want in this data cleaning process. Okay, so this is with pandas. We'll come back to Python, but as of now, what we'll do is we'll start with R as well, as I told you. So for today, I will share you this Excel sheet and you can import this Excel sheet in your PyCharm and you can practice all this. You'll be practicing this today, data cleaning, whatever we've seen in class. But for assignment, we are going to, move to R Studio and then you're going to do your assignment with R today. Yes. So R, again, it is a new programming language, which you might hear it for the first time. Yes. So as I told you yesterday, it is a programming language. It is mainly used for statistical computing, where you wanted to perform all this mathematical computing. R will help you. In Python, yesterday we discussed about this mean, median, mode and all, right? So R is specifically for that. For all the statistical calculation part, you can use R. And another option where you can use R is to represent the data graphically. So now you have the data in values. If you want to see them as pictures, like with bar charts or with pie charts or with line graphs, with holograms, all that, histograms, you can use R Studio again. So R Studio, as it said, it is an open source code, just like Python. So you have the codes readily available. You can just take and use. So to set up R first, what you should do is you have to go to Google and type download R Studio. Download R Studio and open the first link, download R Studio. So initially to download R Studio, first you have to install R. So you have two steps in installing R Studio. First you have to download and install R and then you have to download and install R Studio. Without R Studio will not work. Okay, so first you will download R and then you will download R Studio. Once you download R Studio, we are going to use R Studio only, not R. We'll use R Studio to type R codes. Okay, so once it is installed, installation step is very simple. Just click on next, 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 and you're going to install. Once installed, R Studio is going to look something like this. This is the R Studio window. Okay, so in this window, this is the area. This area is where you will type your code. And at the bottom, you find this console. This is where you are going to see the output. And this side, again, you have all the values which you'll be using with your programs and the graphical representations like pie charts and hollow histograms, all that are going to get displayed here. Okay, and with RStudio, you're going to save the files using extension .r. Okay, you'll use extension called .r, and just give me a minute. Okay, let me zoom in. Okay. Now, to give you a brief basics of what R is, how R looks like, how you're going to code with R, you're again going to start with the basics so that when we go for R graphics, you'll understand why you're using all these symbols and all that. Okay. So as I said, R is a programming language. So by default, like yesterday, we saw default concepts in Python like variables, data types, conditional statements, loops, and all that. Same thing R also has. Concepts are same, but the difference is with the syntax part. Okay. So variable, again, it is used to store values, but in R, you're going to use, this symbol to assign a value to the variable. Okay. So this is left angular bracket and one hyphen. So instead of equal to, you're going to use this symbol. This symbol will assign the value to the variable. In Python, we use equal to, right? In R, you're going to use this symbol. So I have two variables here. One is age, another one is name, and all these two values are getting assigned to these two variables. And then you can use print function. So in R also you have function print to display the output. So I'll just copy it, I'll paste it here, and remember, in this RStudio console here in this editor, R is going to execute each line separately. Okay, it's not like you just save the program and click on run, it will execute all the lines. No, R will always execute each and every line. Now, if I keep my mouse pointer here and I click on run, it is going to execute only this line. See, it is giving error because it didn't know there is another 3 line of code which is existing at the top. So it is assuming there is no such object called name which is available, right? So whenever you wanted to execute your R code, select the entire code. Select this entire code and then click on run. Then when you click on run, it is going to show you the output here. And in the console, the content which is in the blue color is the code. The output will be in the black color one. This is the output. 20 and Samhita, which is in black, will be the output. Other part, all these blue color parts are nothing but the code which is again repeated in the console. All right. And if you want to clear the console, there is this brush icon here. You can just go click on this and it will clear the console. All right. So when in this example, you have two variables and you're trying to print the two variables. And apart from print, what other function you have to display the output? You have this function called paste. Sometimes print won't work when you're trying to mismatch the data type and print won't work. So at that point you can use the paste function. So you have two options. One is print and another one is paste. So let's try running this and it's going to show hello world. So it is going to just combine both the variables and going to give you the output. Okay, this. Now, in R, if you wanted to take input from the user, in Python, yesterday we learned about the function called input function. In R, you have this function called readLine. Inside readLine, you have to use this attribute called prompt and you have to ask the question. And then the user will enter the value. Now, let me just copy this one line. So, name readLine prompt equal to enter your name. Now, if I run, here it is asking me to enter my name. So when I enter my name and hit enter, my name gets stored inside this variable. Now when I try to print name, I'll just type name and I'll run. See, it is printing my name. So instead of print function or instead of paste function, if you just directly give the variable name and run, it is still going to give you the output. So even without using print function and paste function, you can still try to print the output. All right. So this, and if you wanted to get number values from the user, then again here this read line is going to collect it as string only. Just like Python yesterday. In Python, I told you to collect integer value, we'll use one function called int function, right? So similarly, you have to collect the value here and then you have to convert that value into integer as dot integer. So as dot integer and you pass the variable inside, it's going to convert it as integer and then I'm storing it back inside the same variable itself. So when you're getting number values, you have to do this conversion separately in R. Okay. And then again, same part, conditional statements. Yes, it's the same, but here you have curly braces, just like your other programming languages like Java. In Java, you have curly braces, right? In Python, you don't have curly brace. But in R, again, you have the curly brace part. So you have to, what type of if statement is this? Nested if. So you have if inside another if, inside another if. Yes, so this is called nested if. Can anyone tell me what will be the output for this? For this code? A value is 10, B value is 20, C value is 30. So what output are you going to get? Hello? Will you get hey there? Okay, and then? How are you? You're going to get all the three outputs? Run. Yes. Hello, hey there, and how are you? Right? This is with conditional statements. So just the syntax is different. And then you in loops, you have again same while loop and for loop. So the format is same. The only difference that you see here is the curly brace and the equal to part. Instead of equal to, you have this, right? So while loop, so this while loop will get executed unless and until this condition is true. So it keeps executing till the value 4. And for, again, just same like Python. So you use counter variable and then the in operator and then the range. So this loop will execute for 10 times. 1 to 10. Okay. These all are same. Now let's discuss about functions. We didn't see about functions yesterday, right? Okay. What are functions used for in a programming language? Why do you use function? Why do you go for functions? Reusability, very good. So if you have a block of code which you wanted to execute again and again in many places, yes, you don't have to repeat that code. Now let's say you have 100 line of code which keeps repeating in different places. You don't have to write that 100 line again and again and again. You just have to put that 100 line inside a function and then whenever and wherever you want, you just have to call it. So that is code reusability. So function is mainly used for code reusability. And in functions, you have two types of functions. What are they? Two types. One is built-in functions or predefined functions and another one is user-defined functions. Okay. In general, when you create a function, you have two options to create. Now, what are built-in functions? I didn't tell you that. Built-in functions are functions which are already built, predefined, like print is a built-in function. Paste is a built-in function. Void is a built-in function. Yes, you have many built-in functions. And user-defined are functions which we will be creating. Okay. When you create a function, you have two ways to create a function. One is function without parameter. And you have function with parameter. So you can create an empty function or you can create a function with the parameter. Okay. So to create a function in R, you have to give the function name first and then the equal to sign and then the function keyword and the open close parenthesis. And then inside you can put whatever code you want. But this function will get executed only when you call it. Okay. So I'll copy, I'll paste it here. So now this is my function. First, I'll execute only this. So I'll click on, I'll select this and I'll click on run. Function got created. So when will this function execute? When will this hello and how are you will print? Only when you call the function. So when I call the function, see, this printing hello and how are you. This is one type of creating a function. This is function without parameter. It is a plain function. Now, how does a function with parameter look like? Something like this. You have one parameter given inside. Okay. Now, what does this mean? When you call this function called myfun, you have to pass a value to this parameter. One value you must pass. Yes. So I'll create this function first. Click on run, and then we'll call this function. So when I call this function, see, hello, how are you? And we have hello and the name used inside. So it is showing hello, Samita. This is function with parameter. Okay. Right. Now, yesterday in Python, I told you we have 4 data structures, right? What are they? What data structures did we see yesterday? Lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries, right? Similarly, in R, you have few data structures. Okay. One such is called vectors. All right. Now, vector, again, it allows you to store multiple values in a variable. But the only thing is, in vector, you can store values of same data type. You can store values of same data type. If you're going to use string, you can use only string. If you're going to use numbers, you can use only numbers to store. But then we have lists in R. Now in lists, you can store different data types. You can store different data types. Okay, now to create a vector, you will use this function called C function. Okay, so inside C function, you're going to give values and this vector will be created. Now to access this value in a vector, you have to use the index values. Yes, so we'll first create the vector. Let me clear and I'll run. So vector is created. Now when I call name of 2, it is showing Shri. Yes, Shri is showing. Now here in R, index value starts with 1. In all the other languages, index value normally starts with 0. But in R, it starts with 1 only. Okay. So we are accessing the second element. So second element is 3. And then you have 2, 5. What will this show? Sri and Abhi. That is 2, 3. Okay. 2. Okay, it's just 2, 5. The second value and the fifth value, not colon. I've given comma. So if it is comma, then it is going to show the second value and the fifth value. I thought I gave full. Okay. So this is accessing elements in vector. And you in vector, after creating a vector, you can change the value using, again the index. So you can choose the index and you can edit the value inside. You can change the item inside. Let me change. So name of 2, let's change it to Samim. So as of now, we have Shri. I'll click on run. It is changed to Samim. And let's try printing name. See, name got changed to Samim. Okay, apart from this, you have another function called rep. Rep stands for repeat. So repeat, what it will do, this will help you with our graphics. If you wanted to generate random values, you can use this repeat function. So in repeat function, I am just giving a vector 1, 2, 3. And then I have used an attribute called times. Okay, now what this will do, this is going to repeat this 1, 2, 3 for 3 times and store it in A. When I run, see here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. It repeated 3 times. All right. Now, if you want to repeat each value 3 times, you can give each. Each 3, it is going to repeat 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, and 3, 3, 3. Okay, this way you don't have to create a vector with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't have to give. You can use this repeat function to create the values for you. Right. And next is lists. And before that, let me share the attendance sheet. Participants online, I've shared the attendance sheet. Please fill in your attendance and continue with the class. And next one is list. So list, as I told you, you can store different data type values. So for list, you have to use this keyword called list or the function called list. For vectors, C function. For list, you use the list function. And again, you're going to use index values to print, to take the values and display and see. So I'll just copy this, paste it here, select it and run. Yes. So 2 to 6, it is going to show the values from 2 to 6. A of 2 to 6, 0, 1, 2. Okay. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, it didn't show 6. It is showing 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 to 6. Yes, so colon will take the range, comma will take specific values. That's the difference. All right. And to access individual elements in a list, you can use for loop. Okay. So for loop, what it will do now, this list, all the elements, all the values inside are inside A. And if you want to bring it individually outside, you can use loops. So what you will do is you will pass this particular list to a for loop, and this for loop will take all the values. Now see the difference. Before printing for loop, what I will do, I'll just show you when you try to print A. When you try to print A, it is going to print just like list option only, along with the index values and all that. Now, if I want to print it individually, then I can use this for loop. When I use for loop, look at the output. See, it has taken each value individually. That's the difference between using a for loop and printing the list item directly. Okay, and to combine two lists, you will use again vector function. So you'll create two lists and then you use the vector function to combine two lists. This is with list. Okay, and then comes matrix. So in R you have matrix. So matrix is rows and columns, right? So to create a matrix, you use matrix function and you'll give values in a vector, and then you will tell the matrix function how many row you want and how many column you want. So I want 3 rows and 2 columns. So let's see how this matrix gets created. Click on run. See here, we have 3 rows and we have 2 columns. Okay, and to access items inside matrix, you can use the row and column value. So first row, second column, right? And here it is just the second column. Here it is just the first row. It will print the first row. And to add extra columns in a matrix, to add extra columns, you will use a function called cbind. And to add extra rows, you will use a function called rbind. So these are 2 functions which will help you add. So I'll just click on, I'll select this. So I'm going to select the existing matrix which we have, and I'm going to add one extra column. So we'll run this. See, one extra column got added with value 10, 11, and 12. Now to add extra row, we'll use R find. 13 and 14. See, extra row is added. Right? So this is with matrix. And then the last one that you have is data frames. So data frames, yesterday we saw in pandas, right? Same concept here, data frames. So it has rows and columns. You will use this function called data.frame to create data frames. So inside data frame, see, I've created a key value, and inside this I've given values. So the first key is class. So in class you have computer science, maths, and statistics, and then you have marks for each, and then the average for each. Okay, so this is creating a data frame. And once you create a data frame, yesterday we saw describe function in pandas, right? Similarly, here you have this summary function. Summary function, see what it is going to do. It is going to give a summary of your data frame. See, summary in the sense, what is the minimum mark, which is the maximum mark, the mean value, the median value, is going to give all that. Okay, and to access data frame, you have 3 options, either with index value or with the key value or using the dollar symbol. Yes, okay. Now this is with basics of how you have to use R. All right. I'll be sharing you the codes and you can use this code in your R Studio and practice. Now we'll come to the graphical part. How to represent data visually in R. Okay. So in R, as I told you, you have plots, you have scatter plots, you have bar charts, you have pie charts, you have all these to plot the data. Now for plot, simple plot, you will use this function called plot function. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just give plot of 1 comma 3. Plot of 1 comma 3. I'll extend this space and I'll clear this and let me run. So when I run, see here, you get a plot here. Yes, and in this, it has an x-axis and y-axis, and it has the pointer here for 1 and 3. 1 is for x and 3 is for y. So this here it is 1 and here it is 3. So it is plotting for 1 comma 3. Now, if I want two values, two vectors to plot, yes, we'll give this and we'll see run. So here see for 1 and 2 we have the plot here, and for 7 and 9 we have the plot here. Okay, here you have 1 7 and 2 9. It is going to take 1 and 2, 1 from this and 2 from this vector. So for 1 and 2 you have the plot here, and for 7 and 9 you have the plot here. This is what you're going to do with your assignment. So see to this. And you can give multiple values also. So multiple plotting is also possible. See here I have vector with 4 values, 5 values. Will run and see. Yes, so this is 1 and 3, and this is 2 and 7, and this is 3 and 8, this is 9 and 4 and 9, and this is 5 and 12. Okay, now if you wanted to name this graph, see, I want a graph which is going, I want a plot which is going to start from 1 to 10, and I want a heading for the graph. The heading you can give inside main attribute as graphs. And if you want to give values for your x-axis and y-axis, you can use xlab. So inside xlab, I'll give x-axis, ylab, I'll give y-axis, and the plot, I want it in color, so I'm giving red color. Now when I copy this, paste it here, and I click on run, see, I have the plot, it is actually in red color. Yes, and it is starting from 1 to 10. Okay, and I have the names. Graph is my name, and then I have y-axis and x-axis at the bottom here, this side. Okay, and this pointer, right? This pointer is called CEX. If you want to adjust this pointer, you can give values. By default, the value of the CEX is 1. Okay, so if you want a smaller pointer, you can use 0.5, or if you want a larger pointer, you can use 2. These are the 3 default values. You can't use any other values. Okay, so this is with the normal plot. Then about scatter plot. Scatter plot is mainly used for observation where you have many values. Yes, now see here, I have 2 data. This is for day 1 and this is for day 2. Okay, and this day 1 and day 2 denotes the age of the car and the speed of the car. So this is like for traffic analysis, they are going to check with the speed of the car. So what I'll do is I'll copy this entire code, we'll paste it here. So we have 4 vectors here, 2 vectors for day 1, 2 vectors for day 2, and then we are trying to use plot function to plot both the day's data. Okay, now I'll run this. Let me clear this first. Yes, clear it. I'll run it. So now I have 2 plots with me. With this arrow mark, you can keep moving into different plots. So first I'll go to the first plot. For the first plot, I have the name called observation of cars. Yes, I have the name observation of cars. And for x-axis, I've given value, which is car age. For y-axis, I've given value car speed. And I want the color as red. And CX value I've set to 2. So it is all in larger points. Okay. And for y, the second plot, I didn't give any name and all. So I've just given the vector names and the color as blue and the pointer value as 2. Now this is for display. After displaying, using this display, they'll start analyzing the data after visualizing. Now we have only small values, so you can't analyze much. But if you take vectors with more number of values, then yes, you can start analyzing. So this is scatter plot. All right. And then you have pie chart. Pie chart for, it is going to represent in circular format. So for that, you have this function called pie. Okay, pie function. So what we'll do is we'll take this part. And I'll paste it here. So now I have 3 vectors. Okay. So first vector is giving me the value. Second vector has the names. And third vector has the colors. All right. So in pi, I am going to actually take the data from this one, 10, 20, 30, 40. All right. And in label, I'm going to label each pi for name. So each pi will have a name. Sau, Shri, Sam, and Sami. And then my heading will be details. And then for column, I'm going to specify, for the color, I'm going to specify color for each pi. So the first pi will be in red, second pi will be in blue, third will be in green, and 4 will be in yellow. And then we have legend. Legend is going to display the details of that particular pi. So when I run this, see, I have a pie chart. This is the legend. The Sau, Shri, Sam, Sami, this is the legend part. So I've asked for bottom right. So it is somewhere here. Because of this orientation, this zooming thing, it is showing me here. If not, it will show in the bottom right. All right. And it is showing each color represents who. So red is for Sau, which has 10, size 10. And then yellow is Sami, which has size 40, which is greater. And then we have Sam for 30 and Shri for 20. And with the colors. This is how you represent with pi. Okay, this is visual representation. Now, what you are going to do for today's assignment, day 2 assignment is, in day 2 assignment, you are going to create 3 plots. One is scatter plot. Second one is bar plot, which I didn't show you, but it is kind of same. And then the line plot. 3 types of plots which you're going to do. For this, the data set that you are going to use is empty cast. There is a data set which is already present. You don't have to sit and type values like this using vectors and all that. There is a predefined data set which is already inside R, that is called empty cars. Okay, so you're going to find out how to display empty cars. You should first display the empty cars here and see what columns it has. First, try to open and see. Open and analyze the empty cast data set first. Okay, what columns it has, what values it has. Yes, all that you first analyze it in R. After that, you're going to create a scatter plot using that empty cast data set. Okay, so you'll use 2 columns, MPG and HP horsepower. And for bar plot, you're going to use cylinder. And then you're going to, for line plot, again, you're going to use MPG and gears. These are the columns which you will use to create plot. You're going to visualize and show. So in your Google form, you're going to upload 3 images. Okay, first image for the scatter plot, second image for the bar plot, and third one for the line part. This entire screen output. Okay, so your code has to be this side, and the visualized data has to be in this side. You will take a screenshot of this entire screen and you will upload it in the Google form. You'll have 3 options to upload. You have to upload for all the 3 assignments. All right. This is with visual representation using R. And in R, again, what we have missed or what we have not seen in R today is we have statistical computations like mean, median, mode, sum, average value calculations. And then using R, you can connect to backend database. You can store values. You can get the values from the table. You can edit. You can do all that also. So that all, I don't think you need it now. As of now, if you have a basic idea of what R is and how to use it, yes, this is more than enough. And for visual representation, if you're able to do, well and good. All right. So I'll start with SQL also today since we have another 15 minutes. So we'll start with SQL as well. Now, what is SQL? That is abbreviation. I'm asking what is SQL? So SQL is again a language which is used to communicate with with the database, right? So it is a language SQL called a structured query language. So it is not like a programming language. Again, we are not going to deal with variables data types here. It is not a programming language. It is called a query language, which means each and every line that you write in SQL is going to be a command. It's going to be command. So you're just going to demand or command the particular server to do this and that. All right. So when will SQL come into picture in data science? So in data science, there is this concept called data collection, I told you, right? So data collection is where you're going to collect the data for the business. So in that time, when you want to collect data, you will get data from different mediums. So one such will be your servers and the databases. So when you're taking data from servers and databases, you need to know SQL so that you can write proper queries and you can take the relevant data alone, right? So to take relevant data, you will use SQL and collect the data for analysis. Okay, so using SQL, what all you can do, you can create a database. So once you have a database, you can create a table. And once you have a table, you can insert values into table. And once you have values in the table, you can update the values in the table. Update values in the table. And if you don't want any values, you can delete values in the table. And if you don't even want the table, you can drop the entire table. So if you don't even want the table, you can fully delete the table along with the data. You can do all this with SQL. Okay. And then again, the most important thing which you can do is you can find values in the table. So if you want to know certain values, whether it is present or not, you can find the values in the table. Now, as I told you, since these are like command like queries, so it is very simple to type. So now if you want to create a database, look at how simple the query is. You will just type create database and give any name, MyDB. That's it. This will help you create a database. That's it. One line query. Yes. And if you want to create a table, next query will be create table, give a table name. I'll create it as users and open parenthesis. Now table will have fields for sure, right? You have to give the field name. So I'm going to have first name, last name, email and contact. Okay. And close the parenthesis and put semicolon. But here, extra detail that you have to give is, you have to give the data type. So I'll just tell you one data type which you can remember easily. One data type is called varchar, which you can use for all the column names. So varchar is a data type in SQL which will collect both numbers and characters. So I'll use varchar for all. That's it. Now, where do you practice all this? I'm telling you to create database, create table and all that. Where to go practice? You can just go use online editors. Just go to Google and type SQL online editors. SQL online editor, you get many editors. I'll open this one. Second one, you can open any editor you want. So in this editor, you see you already have tables here. Customer table, order table, shipping table. Yes, and you have values inside. Now, if you want to create a new table here, what I'll do, I'll just copy this. I'll just clear this. And then I'll paste the query here. And I'll click on Run SQL. So when I click on Run SQL, my query successfully executed. And where is the table created? The table is created somewhere at the bottom. See here, I have the table called users. User table, but although it is empty. Okay. Okay. Now, let our table be empty. See, we have a table already here called customers, right? And in this customer table, let me take it up. In this customer table, we have fields called customer ID, first name, last name, age, and country. Now let's add one extra row here to this customer table. We have 5 rows, right? We'll add one row called 6th row. So for that, how do you write query to insert values? You'll type the command insert into table name is customers. You have to give as such because it is case sensitive. and then you will type values, and inside parenthesis, you're going to give values for these columns 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So first will be customer ID. Customer ID, I'll give it as 6. And then it is asking for first name. First name, I'll give it as Saumita. And then it is going to ask for last name. I'll give it, since it is a string value, I'm giving it inside double quotations. First name, last name, and then it is asking for age. Let's give age. And then it is asking for country. Let's give the country India. That's it. So insert into customers values, and we are trying to enter the values. I'll copy this. I'll paste it here and we'll run SQL. So see here, one row got added to this. This way you can add data to existing table. Okay. Now let's remember about adding all this. Now let's say you wanted to change anything inside. Okay. Now say for example, we'll change the age of John. Okay. Now, John is a person inside customer table and his age is mentioned as 31. Now I wanted to change this age to 25. I wanted to change this particular age value to 25. So how do I change? So for changing or updating, I have this command called update. So you will type update and the table name first. And then which column you wanted to change, that you will write it first. So I'll use set age equal to 25. And I can end my query here. Okay, I can end my query here. If I end my query here, what will happen? All the age value will be converted to 25, will be changed to 25. Okay, but I want it to be changed only for John. So John is inside first name, right? So what I will do is in the next line, I'll put a clause called where first name equal to John. So we are giving a condition. See, first name has to be John. Only if the first name is John, you change the age to 25. Now I'll copy this and I'll paste it here and I'll run SQL and not changed. Okay, because J is capital. J. Run SQL. Now it is changed to 25. Values inside the table, field names, these all are case sensitive. Commands like this, SQL commands like insert, into, values, this you can write it in capital, small letter, however you want. But table names and the values which you are trying to access has to be case sensitive. Okay, this is updating. Now let's say I wanted to delete. Now I wanted to delete my data. The data which I've entered, right? My data. So how do you delete it? For deleting, we'll write delete from customers where first underscore name equal to Saumita. Yes, run SQL and see my data is gone. Okay, so if you want to delete, then you have this delete. Now, what if I want to delete this entire table? Yeah, you have to give drop. So drop table and the table name. That's it. Customers and run SQL. The entire customer table is gone. So what is the difference between delete and drop? Delete will delete only the values inside the table. Drop will delete both the table and the value. So I'm going to delete both. Okay. So this is with, SQL is not over. We have few more to see in SQL. We'll continue that in tomorrow's class. So as of today, your assignment is going to be with R. Yes, so you will use the inbuilt data set and you're going to create 3 plots and you're going to share the output with us in the Google form. And yesterday I shared you the notes in the channel. I hope you all have received it, right? So I'll be updating the same today's note in the same drive. You can go watch it there. Okay. Thank you guys.